Begin transmission.
You are listening to Corellian Run Radio, your route through hyperspace to the latest news on Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Hi, and welcome to Corellian Run Radio. This is episode 139, and we're recording Sunday, March the 1st. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my co-host, Heather. How you doing, Heather?
I'm good. Hey, Jason.
Oh, well, we got a special show for everybody. It's day 2, actually, of this show. Had a little technical difficulty, but we are underway, and we have a couple of special guests on the show. Can you tell them who they are?
Yeah, we have Gokin. He's one of the awesome SWTOR streamers on Twitch, and we also have Gildarian, our friend Drew, who's been on the show a couple episodes ago, and also he was a host on Corellian Run Radio as well. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me.
I'm doing well as well. Thanks a lot, guys. Always great to be back.
So tell me a little bit about yourselves. Why don't we start with Gokin?
All right. Well, I live in North America on the East Coast. Growing up, like everybody here, I've loved Star Wars. I remember watching the movies when I was a kid. Played a lot of fighting games growing up, so I'm really into pretty much player versus player video games. Anything that's player versus player, I love doing.
That's cool. Yeah, I was here, obviously, like you said, as a co-host for about a year, I guess, and PvP writer here on Corellian Run, and run a podcast now called Casual Core Radio, and also do a blog at fanaticalswordsman.com. So if you see me as the Fanatical Swordsman in chat, that's who I am. So yeah, also big into PvP, and I play Gunslinger primarily. What do you play, Gokin?
My main is a Power Tech, although I do casually play all the classes.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I used to play more classes, and Power Tech actually was my secondary for a long time, but I don't have a lot of time in one game anymore. I just kind of like alt games instead of alt characters. So I got a lot of different games and only one character in each.
Right.
I only play one character. And one spec.
You're Deception Assassin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun spec. I've been playing the Shadow a lot recently, or not the Shadow, the Assassin a lot recently, but I've been playing Hatred.
Yeah, well, now they're finally nerfing Hatred. So.
Oh, are they? I didn't look.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's official yet.
Well, hopefully they do. It is a little OP. That along with the Power Tech are kind of the strongest classes right now. But it's kind of funny because we are on the opposite sides of the spectrum with Gokin and I. So,
right, yeah, I play the class that everyone thinks is overpowered, and you play Gunslinger, which everyone thinks needs a lot of help as far as like solo rank goes.
And we're probably, I mean, to be honest, the Power Tech is strong, but it's mostly in the way the players have figured out how to use it that it makes it seem strong.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's only strong for a periodic time. Like, once you use all your burst, you're not like that strong anymore, at least for a while. Yeah,
they definitely have a weakness as far as a lot of people call them squishy, like for their defenses. They're definitely the highest burst in the game, I would say, for especially for solo ranked. But a good player, if you can minimize their damage, or if you can survive the burst, you can. It's pretty easy to shut down a PT, especially if the whole team's focus firing them.
Right. Yeah, they are target number one anytime I play ranked. That's for sure. Don't let them sit Don't let them sit undefended against.
Exactly. Their damage is way too high. You need to pressure them.
Right. Yeah, we're gunslingers are similar because actually our damage is pretty decent. It's just the problem is we are very squishy as well. We don't have any. Well, we don't even have as good a defenses as the Power Tech does. Really, honestly, we have better CC control. We can't be controlled as much, but when it comes to like actual damage, we basically do nothing. We take it all.
The Power Tech with 3.0, they got the utility which increases the hydraulic override speed. So they do have a way to kind of get away from people when they're pressured. However, a gunslinger, I mean, they're best when they're in cover, standing still. And that's kind of like a problem when you have 4 DPS on you, like blowing their cooldowns and, using all their burst on you.
Exactly. Yeah, you're out. If you're out in the open, you're pretty much dead, and if you stay there, you're pretty much dead.
Right.
You have two options: you can run and die, or stay and die.
Yeah.
Well, already you guys can see that we do have two of the guys definitely for PvP, and that is what our show is about today. We are going to, first we're going to get a little bit of news we had this week. We did have some news, some actual new news from BioWare that came out, and that was, I wanted to get you guys' take on it as well from you guys' perspective in PvP, but they announced the Operation Victory. You guys hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to get my guildmaster to get into it, but he was like, "Oh well, we're not one of the best guilds. Even though we have full cleared story mode, the new story mode operations, we've cleared those in 8-man, but we're probably, we're no Zors or Death and Taxes, where, we can do it, but I don't think we can do it as fast as them, which is the key to this competition. Also, I'm afraid of any bugs that might come through, like, I don't know, you only get like one shot, right? Because then you're locked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that's going to work. Are
Well,
you
apparently
guys...
there is a patch, there's a fix coming for the Cortani bug, so that could help. That's coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that is an issue, because if you're bugged, that's just basically the worst of the random number generator, is when you're trying to fight against the program itself.
But now, what do you guys think, though? Are you excited about something like this? And do you think it could lead to other things, possibly PvP getting in, possibly esports? Or what do you guys think?
I hope so. I hope this becomes pretty successful and it's like a catalyst for other events. I fear that it'll flop, and then if it does, then they'll never do something like in the future as far as PvP is related for tournaments. That's what I'm worried about.
I don't think that's fair, though. All these ranked prizes, they're cool, but what would be really cool? These Operation Victory prizes. Like, get a trip to Star Wars Celebration, cash prizes. Like, this is real, like, a real prizes, and I think PvPers should get a chance, too. So I really hope that this does well, and so they'll want to do it for PvP as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, they're basically doing esports with PvE, which is something I've never heard of before. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's been done before. Is that true? Have you ever heard one?
I never heard that.
I really only hear esports for like MOBAs and stuff, and that's all PvP. So this is something and then like people that do like speedruns of Zelda and stuff. That's PvE, I guess.
Somebody
Right.
I think was saying on Twitter, I believe, that is it Elder Scrolls Online? Some of their dungeons are done this way, but I could be wrong. I thought I saw that somebody else is actually doing some dungeon crawls like this, where they actually time it and then do some small little contests like that. So, but I'm like you guys. I think if this goes big, I think it could lead to other things in the future. Or at least keep my fingers crossed on that.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope it is a stepping stone into real esports, which is PvP. Direct player versus player competition is more sports-like than player versus third party. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've had so many problems with participation before. Maybe if they upped the ante with providing tickets to the Star Wars Celebration, things like that, like, people might actually go for it then. I mean. Could be really fun.
That's an issue in ranked PvP population, just people not playing. I mean, if you start offering real prizes, I mean, I'm not to say that a Rancor isn't real, but like, if you give me $100 to
it's a little more real than a
win.
Rancor.
Yeah.
$100. Heather's jumping in ranked PvP, folks. That's what we're hearing.
Just pay for my sub. I mean, if you're not going to let me do it free to play, pay for my sub to do it. If I win, that would be great.
That'd be nice.
But I mean, to be honest, though, like, balance issues are going to enter in with esports. Anytime you have direct player versus player thing, you're going to have flavor of the month classes. I've seen this in Firefall when they did esports there. Esports and MMOs is very, very difficult to pull off because it's just so tricky to balance everything. So, yeah, I'm concerned with, if they did do it, how it might be, how it might come out at the end.
It's really tough to balance PvP in an MMO like SWTOR because the main game is PvE, so that kind of takes a priority as far as balance goes. So
Right.
it's it's really tough to balance for PvP when you have a game that's really focused on PvE.
Well, even to use Firefall as an example again, because that's the most recent one. I remember an MMO doing esports. They had a $20,000 cash prize. I think it was 20,000 for the winners of their jet ball tournament. It was kind of similar to Hut Ball, but involved flying. The problem was is that it had basically like 3 classes, and that was it that would ever participate in Jetball because of the way people built their teams, and that had completely separate balance from PvE. Like all of the sets were standard, all of the gear was standard, everything. So even with everything completely separate from PvE, you can still have balance issues. It's kind of interesting. So I don't know if they could do it. I don't honestly know if they could pull it off effectively with Star Wars. I hope, but I don't know if they could.
I think they'll walk the wrong way.
What do you guys think of like the rock paper scissors theory that like there's always one class that can beat another class that can beat another class, and it just goes around in a circle? Do you still think classes are unbalanced based on that? Do you think like the flavor of the month can still get defeated by something, or what do you think of that?
There are some classes that have advantages over others. The more players you involve in a match, like when it's 4 versus 4, some classes that are considered not that great actually perform better when you have support from your teammates, like you have guard and heals. So that kind of balances out. The thing is, the bigger problem I think is solo ranked, how it's 4 DPS versus other 4 DPS, and it gives some classes a huge advantage over others. And most people do solo ranked. They don't do group ranked.
Right. And that has to do with the fact that it's hard. You can't dual queue. So, I mean, there's never any incentive to do 4v4 ranked because you'll just sit in queue all the time while you're waiting. Because everyone knows that they'll get a pop if they do YOLO queue or solo queue or whatever you call it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So that is a problem.
Yeah, YOLO queue or solo queue, that's I asked some people a little while ago about that, and they were considering, well, maybe they should remove that from being able to get a ranking just because it's so based on luck. Maybe it's fun. It's fun to go in and just queue for it, but I don't know if it's fair to give a ranking based on that. What do you think?
I think. Go ahead, Goken. Yeah.
A while back, I had an idea. Well, what I think they should have done is maybe have, since they don't do practice queues, or there's no way to like play ranked without risking rating, other than the preseason. But once the preseason is over, like you gotta wait. But to have solo queue be, you can get your ranked comms, you can do your dailies, but don't have reward attached to it, and have better rewards for group ranked. There needs to be an incentive to do group ranked, because right now there isn't.
Yeah, and there's no way you can even practice. Like, this is another thing that people were suggesting to me when I was asking for questions. Like, what if they made some kind of practice mode or skirmish mode where you could choose who you wanted to play against, and that way it's in an environment where you're not risking your rating, but you're trying things out and you're in the arena environment, because sometimes you can't really enact something like that in the open world. I mean, you could be really organized about it, but that's something that I think they should just put in game.
I brought that up during one of the community streams, asking about a practice queue or like a skirmish mode, and their answer was they didn't want to add another queue for people, like to break it up even more. It would take away from people, or the queue pops for like solo ranked, group ranked, or whatnot. That was their answer.
I don't even know what to do with that. Because the problem is they keep thinking that the problem is that not enough people are queuing, and that is true, but that's not the problem. That's the symptom of the main problem, which is the fact that it's very difficult to get into ranked and to enjoy it, because solo queues are not fun if you're not the best class, and ranked 4s are really hard to get a queue pop, and so you'll oftentimes get the same exact team over and over again. So these are problems that are causing the symptom of low queue populations, and that's why the queues are suffering. And if they would just, I don't know, go and target that root problem a little bit more, maybe the symptom of low queue populations wouldn't be as big of a deal, but they seem to be trying to consistently try to treat the symptom and not the disease. And that's the problem that I've seen frequently.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They need to figure out why people aren't queuing, not trying to get more people to queue.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that part of the reason that people don't queue is because they get into one bad match and they just get wrecked.
Yeah.
And if they queue up one more time and get the same exact team, they're going to get wrecked again. And one issue I've seen, taking cross server out of it, because obviously that would be the best possible fix to start off with, right? Because that would be, it would, make our queues massively much more large and have way more population. But the main thing is that when we prepare for a queue, when we get into a game, we can't do anything against what we've been paired up with. So if we have bad teammates, or if we have a really good team on the other side, or a specific set of classes on the other side, there's nothing we can do, right? We're stuck in our spec, we're stuck in our position, so there's nothing really we can do. I think if they allowed us to respec our utilities, that would actually help a lot. It's kind of a subtle thing, but I think if they allowed us to respec our utilities, like say we get a bunch of sages on the other side, we respec to prevent AoE damage. That allows us to plan a strategy versus just being like, well, I hope that the spec works, And so it would actually help us live longer, and we would actually enjoy it more.
You're saying like the utilities, like right before each round, that time there, that you'd be able to change that, right?
Exactly. Not change the spec, not change like our healer or damage or whatever, but our utilities.
That makes sense. That shouldn't be that hard a thing to change, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, it's only things that are like movement-based defenses, extra CC. It would allow us to plan a strategy versus just hoping that we get lucky, Like, it would minimize the luck factor, and that would help it be more fun, honestly. So I think that would help treat the disease a little bit more and less of the symptom. Weirdly enough, I keep suggesting this on various podcasts because I think it would be helpful. But it's kind of a subtle thing.
Yeah, well, I hope BioWare's listening. We got some people in the chat room today, and I know they listen to our podcast. Just saying. So listen to us. So I have a couple questions. Maybe we can start with that. So I know, Galdarian, you play a gunslinger, and right now, a lot of people are saying, well, gunslingers aren't very good, or they're not very viable in ranked or solo ranked or whatever. Right. What would you? Do you have any tips for surviving as a sniper or a gunslinger, especially when the maps are made for mobile classes?
Well, at the moment, I mean, to be honest, we're going to have difficulty surviving, just in general. A lot we can do. There's not a lot we can do to prevent getting just owned instantly. And I put a link in the Skype chat, and I'll put it in Twitch as well. But this is my thoughts on how we could change the utilities of snipers, gunslingers. I think we're in a good place damage-wise, honestly. I think our skill sets are pretty well designed. I think the issue is just how our utilities are set up. They're so poorly set up. We don't have any good defenses, and a lot of the good defenses require some of the lower talents to be taken that aren't as good for them to be even sufficient. So like you have to combo certain things to have a decent skill set. Whereas if you look at the Sage, all of their utilities are almost too good to not take. You really have to make a choice between awesomeness, and gunslingers you have to make a choice between okay and pretty bad. So I think that would be one thing we could do to fix it, is to make some of these changes. Most of them are regards to defenses. I think we just need more defenses, not OP defenses where like we can't be killed. But if you think about it, every class, for the most part, has a skill that when they pop it, people think, I probably shouldn't waste my cooldowns right now. There's like Guarded by the Force. People are like, oh, he's using Guarded by the Force. Wait 5 seconds. Or Sage Bubble, like when they use their I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. The thing where they have to stand still. Force Barrier.
Yeah, Force Barrier.
Yeah, Force Barrier. Like, okay, don't attack them until it's over. Gunslingers have none of this. Like, they have nothing. If they pop dodge and their shield, they can still be killed because it only prevents 75% of tech damage and force damage. And if you're getting focused by 4 people, it's not. I mean, 25% is still enough to kill you. So,
do you think Marauders have the same issue too, or do you think they have some better utilities?
A little bit, but Guarded by the Force is very powerful. And now that it doesn't kill you practically when you use it. It's going to be very useful for them, and I think that they'll be in a good place. They also have, the 20% damage reduction that's pretty much almost always on. I think it has an off time of maybe, if you're speccing it a certain way, maybe 10 seconds. I can't remember off the top of my head. I haven't done the math in a while. I haven't played my Sentinel almost at all since this patch, and I know that they're better off. They may not be well off, but they're better off than gunslingers. They do have the problem of being melee, and so they are going to be held back a bit because of that. But again, they once you get hit, if you pop guarded by the Force, you got 5 seconds where you can basically not be killed. So I don't know. I feel like you can do a lot more damage with that than you could as a gunslinger being... I mean, like I said, you stand still, you die. You move, you get leapt to, or you get pulled, you die. So there's really not a lot we can do to defend against that.
How are you doing with your class, Goken? With the power tech?
With power tech? Every match I play, I get tunneled every single time, so it gets pretty annoying. I kind of have to rely on my teammates to for peels or for support. If I don't get that, pretty much my strategy is stay as live as long as I can and kill somebody before I get killed and turn to a 3v3. That's how pretty much 99% of my matches go, because the PT always gets tunneled. Unless there's a sniper on my team. And then maybe they'll tunnel the sniper.
That's what I'm saying.
Go after him first.
But you have to remember, you have the chance to unload almost all of your damage up front. Our burst is not as good. We have better sustained. And so, we have to be alive for a decent amount of time before we can actually do enough damage to be useful. I hate dying and only having 20k damage. It's just pathetic, and it embarrasses me. But it's I was lucky to, survive 5 seconds anyway.
And so, then you get a lot of flack from your teammates for only doing a certain amount of damage when they didn't help you whatsoever.
Right,
they didn't
exactly.
intercede to you. They didn't taunt, nothing. They kind of
leave
you on your own and then blame you.
Taunt. It's what?
Yeah.
That's one of your best skills. Use it.
You never see, I very rarely see Sorks do their friendly pull.
Mm-hmm.
Jugs went to intercede. I think it's more of a problem with soul rank people's mentality, where it's kind of people don't help each other. They kind of just do their own thing.
Well, they're in it for their own. That's it's all very self-centered in solo ranked. I agree. Yeah.
It's you're all trying to climb all over each other, but then you don't help anyone up.
Right.
No.
And then you get mad, and the toxic atmosphere of solo ranked is also bad, because they'll get mad at someone and make it so they don't want to queue again.
Exactly.
I remember season 2. This was before I left. Before I left for my extended hiatus from SWTOR, I got chewed out by this Marauder who was top of the heap. Because Marauders were doing pretty well in season 2, and he was like, dude, why do you even queue as a gunslinger? You should just not do that. You bring the team down. I'm like, I'm sorry. I wanted to play this class. He's like, well, don't alt or don't play. And I was like, okay, / ignore. But
sometimes I get some things like that too. Hatred wasn't always super amazing awesome, and I don't even play Hatred. I play a Deception Assassin, and maybe I'm being a baby about it, but sometimes when I go into PvP, unranked or ranked or whatever, there's sometimes people that will whisper me saying, you suck, blah, 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 bad stealther, you shouldn't be playing Deception, stupid stuff like that. And it's just am I supposed to just toughen up? That's not the kind of person I am. What if I just want to play and not get yelled at for, I don't know.
Yeah, and unranked, that should never happen. Unranked should be casual, and people should understand that if you come in and playing a class that you like to play in a skill set or a discipline that you like to play, that you should not be yelled at for it. It's not your fault that doesn't work as well as the other one. You just like that one. But in ranked, if you went in ranked, I could kind of see that. You have the opportunity to respec and be more useful. You probably should. No offense. I don't think that you would intentionally bring down your team, and you might be very good at Deception and better at that than Madness, but other people would perceive that as not being as useful as you could be.
Does this go back to the whole balance thing and possibly BioWare needing to get more on top of some of this?
It could. Yeah, let's be honest. Never will you have every spec in every class be balanced. It won't happen. you just want to remove all the outliers. Take the really good ones and lower them down to within the parameters of the decent ones, and take the really bad ones and raise them up. You know, you need to think of it as like a bell curve that you need to pull them within one standard deviation of each other, so to speak. You know, not as thinking, oh, I have to be everyone on the mean. That's not what we want. That's not what could happen even.
Yeah. So you guys have been in season 4. How is this ranked season going so far?
For me, in previous seasons, I was plagued by people trolling and leaving the match, and people win trading. I've noticed in season 4, however, I've not seen people intentionally throwing matches. So maybe, I know Bioware did say they're going to be cracking down on that, and it appears that they are.
Yeah, there was let me link it in Twitch for the listeners too. But did you see the forum post that I linked about the win trading?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good move on their part to do that. I am worried though. There's one reason why I don't play my gunslinger more in ranked is because I'm worried that they'll think I'm losing on purpose.
Oh no! I remember I saw you tweet like, "Oh my god, I just lost like 5 or 10 times in a row," or however many you said, and I was like, "Oh man."
It was 5, yeah. No, the problem is if I'm playing really well on my assassin and not so well on my gunslinger because they're so different in their abilities, it'll look like I'm losing on purpose on my pub and winning on purpose on my imp, but I'm not. I'm just playing the best I can, and it's just happening the way it is, you know? So I try not to play, weirdly enough, too much of both of them in the same week. You see what I'm saying? So like I'll try to not, I guess I don't want to look like I'm cheating. So I'm trying not to look like I am. Even though I'm not, it just looks like I am. I'm aware of the fact that it could look like I'm cheating, even though I'm not.
Well, I remember I talked to Musco about this like a year ago at the Boston Cantina, and he says, well, back then they used to go through people very, very individually and see, well, okay, so this guy, he logs in at 2 a.m. in the morning. Maybe that's when his shift is done, and it's not prime time for queuing, and he loses all of them. But his girlfriend logs in and she queues with him, but she wins everything. Are they win trading, or does he just suck and she doesn't?
Well, then there's the problem of accidental queue sinking because of there's the population's so low. If you queue with a guildmate, you're probably going to be always in the same match, and so. Could you be seen as winning on purpose when they come on, like you said? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to know exactly what they're seeing on their side. I don't fully trust their metrics because I don't trust numbers. I'm a scientist. I don't trust numbers. I look at them and use my intuition as a human to figure them out. I don't think, this is obviously the way it is.
Yeah, I think they look too much at the numbers and just go off of that.
Exactly.
We had kind of a question in the chat room or something for Gokin. Prerequisites for PvP, similar like they have for PvE operations, kind of like, should that be something that BioWare should look at for ranked and stuff?
This is something I've brought up in my stream a bunch of times. It kind of drives me nuts. A lot of people do think they should have a expertise requirement, like you need 2018 expertise. I understand why they don't do that, because some people like to go for a 2-set PvE bonus, which will bring it below the 2018. However, if you notice, if you queue up for the group finder, it will say, okay, recommended gear for this hard mode flashpoint, whatever it is, 148, 150, I don't know. Or if you pick up the mission for an operation, it will recommend the gear. However, if you mouse over ranked, it doesn't say anything. It doesn't even recommend like full expertise. It doesn't give. They do a bad job of explaining to new players what they should have before they hop at the ranked. So I think they should at least do that. At least recommend 2018 expertise, or give them like an idea of what they should have. Because I see a lot of people in solo ranked who have like PvE gear and they get annihilated and pretty much turn it into a 3v4.
Yeah. That's just, I don't know how to change that without banking it so you can't change gear. You know what I mean? Like if they could like set you must have 2018 expertise to queue. I mean, what if you're like, oh crap, I'm in my DPS gear, I need to change my healer gear or something. You know, like there's a lot of trickiness to that.
I think some people just don't know any better, and they just they see ranked and they queue in their PV gear and they don't know, and then their teammates suffer because now, like, I mean, they're probably gonna lose because realistically, that guy will be singled out, he'll get globaled, and it's a 3v4, and it's pretty tough to win that. And then
would you rather have like a smaller queuing population, but at least have everyone that knows, you know, kind of what they're doing since they have all this PvP gear?
It's small as it is. I think they could at least recommend it to people because some people don't know any better and they queue without it and then they get yelled at.
Well, here's the deal. I would rather have a quality queue than a quantity queue any day. I mean, that's the problem that I feel like BioWare isn't getting, is that we don't necessarily want more people to queue. We want good people to queue for the right reasons, and we want more of that. And, you know, again, there's a lot of PvPers queuing. They're just not all on the same server. So I don't know. And I don't want PvEers in my game. No offense. I want them to. I don't want people in PvE gear in my game, whether they know they were supposed to be there or not. Like, I just don't. If they get conquest points for coming into our games, then they will do it, whether it has tooltips or not.
I think that's an issue too, especially, you know, conquest season where everyone just starts queuing and they don't care if they win or lose. It's the same with GSF. My guild is really big on GSF, and they get pissed when there's just people that sit there and don't do anything. It doesn't make the game fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or they want their 10 matches for the color crystal, and they're there just to play the 10 matches.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back just a little bit. What is expertise? What does it do? And do I need it for PvP?
Expertise. You will do more damage. Oh, it's a PvP stat. You will do more damage to players. You will receive... I believe it's you receive more healing, or you heal for more, one or the other.
You heal for more.
Okay, you heal for more. You'll heal players for more. It's the best PvP stat. Do you need PvP? Yes.
The way it works is with damage and defense, if you have the same amount as another player, you are even. No bonus, no deficit. So two people at 2018 will do the same amount of damage against each other as if they were both at 0. The difference is if you don't have 2018, which is the max that you can get, then you will definitely be at a disadvantage against someone who does have 2018. They get an additive bonus on top of it. Now, the PvP healing, I think, is just a straight bonus, but PvP healing is nerfed in arenas, so I think it brings it closer to normal. It doesn't bring it all the way to normal, but it does bring it closer to normal. So it's kind of a complicated stat in the way the math works out. But it basically is on every piece of PvP gear, and you should have a full set of PvP gear, except perhaps your relic. You can have the Matrix Cube and still have full expertise, because the bolster will bring you up to full expertise with the Matrix Cube.
Well, on a more positive note, any good stories or anything positive about ranked PvP, or should we talk about unranked PvP? What we like about that?
I'll let Goken go for ranked PvP because I don't have any positive stories.
Something positive. Well, it does seem like they are listening to feedback as far as the rewards go. I remember after season 2, when I got that Hutball helm, and that's all I got, I was very unmotivated to do ranked PvP in season 3. And then they introduced like the mount and like their armor sets, and now they previewed the weapons for season 4. So it does look like they've learned from that, and they're going to give better rewards.
Yeah, that is smart to actually start the season with rewards, kind of previewed. Some of the rewards, not all of them. I think that was very, very good. That was what I've been wanting from them from season 1, was tell us what we're going to get, sort-of-ish, tease it, make us want to do it because, we have something coming to us. And don't make it so you just have to queue up for 10 and not do anything to get it, which is what they did last time, and we saw how that went. So...
Yeah, they've added a minimum now.
Yeah, they have a floor value on it that you have to achieve, which I probably won't with my gunslinger, but that's okay. But yeah, I think that is a very good move, and I think it encourages me that they're moving in the correct direction with that, which is more, ahead of time telling us what we could get.
Yeah.
Now, with some of the rewards, do you think new gear or new looking weapons, or is that the proper carrot exactly for the PvPer? Should it be focused on that, or maybe something else?
It's definitely something that they can show off while they're PvPing. When they had the decorations for season 2, every PvPer I know was so disappointed
that was the worst season for prizes.
Yeah, when 2/3 of the rewards were decorations that like PvPers don't hang out in each other's strongholds. We're in like war zones PvPing.
Right.
So I think armor is pretty cool.
Armor's great, and mounts are kind of cool. I like mounts. Not everyone's a mount person, but I collect them. And titles are really good because titles are, of course, how you say, "Hey, I'm awesome." But gear is always awesome too. So I have my own gear set, so it's not as exciting for me. Like I always use the same gear set, but I know that a lot of people do like it. One thing I wouldn't say no to cash prizes or tickets to SWTOR Celebrate or to Star Wars Celebration, but I think that within game titles and gear sets probably a good stick, a good carrot, not a stick. I think the leaderboards are also a good draw for us as PvPers. We like to see that we're top of the boards. However, they need to have awards based on your server, not based on everyone, because we are not getting to fight the people on, say, Prophecy of the Five when I'm on Harbinger. Yeah. Those are not my competition. I shouldn't be compared to them. It's not fair. So, I don't mind getting a title for being the #1 gunslinger on my server, which I probably won't be, but I would not want to be like, top, 100 in the world and not get a title, even though I'm the best on the server. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, if you're going to keep it to single server, I think they should go by server. And if you swap servers, your rating should be reset.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not obvious to them. It's just, we've talked about it a lot, and they still haven't, made it just server competition.
And it's weird because the formula for calculating ELO literally takes your competition into account. So it takes their ratings into account. So there is a cap on your ELO gain based on the quality of players on your server. So lower population will by definition have lower ELO ratings because they don't have the population to get up to higher ELO ratings. It's just not possible. So maybe for a select few, but unless everyone goes against them all the time, it's not going to be possible to get up to high ratings. So it's just really weird. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do to fix it. I think that in general they're moving in the correct direction, but they need to move faster and they need to pay attention to it more if they're going to keep trying to do this.
Yeah, I think they take a lot of very small steps.
Yes.
There's a lot of time in between the small steps, too.
Now,
yeah.
One of the possible ways that they could move in another direction, could they start implementing, besides new maps, possibly a new arena style or even a regular 8v8 style of play? And you guys have any recommendations?
I would say no. I would say absolutely no. Ranked PvP should be dependable on the game type you're playing unless they allow you to respec. Because without being able to respec your utilities and not knowing what you're going to get, there's no way to plan strategy for it. So, if I had like the choice of like a 4v4 hutball and a 4v4 arena and I could pick one or the other, then that would be great. I would love that. Don't get me wrong. But without the ability to pick, no, I would say no. You don't have a way to plan strategy.
Yeah.
Like a gunslinger would be, I have a lot of movement abilities I could take, and for a hutball match, that would be great. But for an arena skill-based thing, it's either take the movement or the defense, and if I live 2 seconds longer, it's it's a little bit better. So I don't know. It's kind of a complicated thing.
So in a perfect world, if they let you change your discipline and there were different types of ranked maps, would you like that?
Not discipline, utilities.
Or yeah, utilities. Sorry.
But yes, I would love that. Yep. I would like to be able to plan a strategy based on my utilities, and I would like to have better utilities. Those are my top of my wish list. Fix my utilities and give me the ability to pick my utilities before the match.
So what were you saying, Gokin? Sorry.
No, I was saying a lot of people really like the ranked 8v8, and they want to come back, but I don't think the population is
I don't think it's ever coming back if we can't even fill 4v4s with people.
I think it has to come with cross-server. You can't just do it. It has to be with cross-server. Or mega server. Whatever their better than cross server thing that they're working on that they can't tell us yet.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing what that is. That
This was like 3 or 4 months ago already that I bugged them about it at the Las Vegas Cantina. I asked them, "Hey, what's better than cross server?" And then Lesko said, "Oh well, we'll tell you by the end of the year." And then it's March.
It was like October, I think. They said they tell us by the end of the year, and then in November that changed to, "We'll let you know in the upcoming months." And now we're in March, so it's been 4 months now.
Trying to stick a timetable to BioWare has never been successful nor gratifying, so I would recommend not worrying about timetables.
I wish I knew what the issue was, like if they need to hire more people or what's going on, assign more resources to a different place, because I know there's several parts of the game that still need help. Like obviously people are still screaming about operations being bugged and strongholds haven't been touched besides decorations that you can mostly get in the cartel market, and GSF hasn't been touched. There's so many parts of the game that I don't know what they're doing. What are they working on? Please tell me. So I can understand why you're not doing anything.
Yeah, I think they're working on their story. You know, they're trying to get that ready and releasing. I think everybody, this has been oversaid probably, but I think everybody agrees that they shouldn't have released a expansion right before going on vacation. That was a bad move, and it made for very bitter people. And it makes all the faults magnified when you can't fix them quickly. So if they'd been fixed within a month, we probably wouldn't even be talking about them right now. But yes, their bugs are still present, and we're going to hold it against them probably this entire expansion. Not we as in us, but as the community, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Apparently he was drunk when he said that, when they're working on something better than cross server. So maybe he believes their story content will be better than better than cross server. It will be that amazing that people will like that instead of the cross server.
We could go to everything. I like one person said, scratch and sniff cartel market, that's better than cross server. I mean, like what they consider better than cross server, I think obviously will come down to who's looking at it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
And the community itself has offered many, 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 many suggestions. I have. You guys probably have. So, yeah. I hope we hear about something soon.
Yeah. The thing I'll also say though, unranked PvP remains some of my favorite PvP in any MMO ever. So, I feel like every class has a use and is really. I don't feel like I'm a bad player when I'm a gunslinger in a 8v8 Warzone, unlike in an arena.
Those are still fun. What are your favorite maps on there? My favorites are Civil War, Civil War, and Hypergates. Actually, I know people are like, "Oh my God, she likes Hypergates. What's wrong with her?"
Gokin, sorry, what do you like?
I think the rigs are a lot of fun. My least favorite map is Hypergate because people, I think a lot of people don't know how to play it, what the rules are. My favorite is probably maybe Voidstar because it's pretty like easy to kind of know what's going on.
Right.
As far as the classes go, like I play every class pretty much, and I have the most fun playing Marauder in regs. It is a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, it is true. I think Voidstar, one of the reasons you like it so much is because it naturally rewards the tendencies of people to focus fire, to tunnel vision. It naturally rewards people just killing for no reason. There's some nuance to it. If you want to do it right, you shouldn't just focus on killing people, but it's probably the most natural one for that. And Ancient Hypergates, ironically, is also kind of natural for that. Unfortunately, that's not how you should play it.
People say my favorite should be Voidstar just because I can go zap the door people or whatever, but because I'm playing the stealth class. Uh-huh. But I feel like everyone else is just doing better than me because I'm sitting there waiting patiently, for the right time to do something. And then everyone else is getting their kill on, and I'm like, well, crap, my numbers aren't going to be that good because I'm sitting here waiting to to do some strategy thing. And then, hopefully they'll vote for me because I get objective points, but... Yeah, that's probably Voidstar's not my favorite.
Well, I feel like Ancient Hypergates is a great one for stealth because it's easy to sap and cap, unlike Voidstar, because Voidstar's capping takes too long. Ancient Hypergates, you can sap someone, try to cap, and when they break the stun, re-stealth and sap them again, and then, take it. And so there's that possibility, unless they're power deck, and then they'll just missile you through it. But if they're not Power Tech, it's great. Or Sage, because the force barrier pops. There's a lot of issues with that now. A lot of double CC breakers, which are kind of weird. But anyway, Huttball is my favorite, personally. I love Huttball. I've always loved Huttball. I think it's the most unique game type to this game, and I would have loved to see esports come to Huttball. That's where it should come. We need a spectator mode, set teams, and challenge, the ability to challenge people, and then we can have leagues, and that would be so cool. That would be
queue.
Yes, that would be my idea of awesomeness.
I agree.
But yeah, I don't like anything where I have to guard something. That annoys the crap out of me because I'm always the one stuck guarding because no one else will do it. So I just spend my whole entire time just accumulating defender points, and then no one votes for me because I didn't do any damage. And the guardian who had no taunt, who had no protection points, but had 900,000 damage, he's the one who gets all the votes because he's the best player. Sorry, bitterness coming through. My bad.
Yeah, well, I guess it's hard to. People are just not gonna vote for. I don't know. I don't want to say anything mean.
I just vote who's at the top of the scoreboard. I just click the vote and then I just move on. I don't even look at the name half the time.
And getting worried about votes is just mostly it's a silly thing to do. I know, but I even have an article on Corellian Run Radio about how to vote for medals, how to vote for people. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like you should reward people who are actually doing something useful. For me, it's really kind of how do I learn how to be useful, And that's the thing is when you're told that you're good and you're not because you're not doing something, there needs to be some education there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe that's just the teacher coming out in me. But anyway.
All right. So I guess maybe we can talk to the chat room for a bit. Chat room, do you have any questions for the guys here or for me or Jason about PvP specifically? Because that's what we're talking about.
While we're waiting for the stream to catch up, Weirlock said that roots should be added to the resolve bar, and I agree. Just saying.
BioWare.
Yeah, maybe like a small, just a little bit.
Yeah, just enough to where you can't root someone who's a CC immune.
Yeah,
because it's definitely unfair to Marauders to be able to not be able to do that. So, but yeah, I am curious to see if anyone has any good questions for us. But I do think they should reduce burst a little bit because that is and just in general across the board they should reduce burst a little bit because it's hard with the amount of stuns there are to stay alive long enough in arenas and in 8v8s to do anything useful.
I think before the expansion came out, Eric Musco said that the damage would remain the same at level 60 and did 55. It seems like people do more damage. There's a lot more burst. The time to kill is shortened. It appears.
And then because healing is also very strong in 8v8s and in arenas too, but it's easy to tell when you have two cross healers in a war zone, and it wouldn't need to be so strong if there wasn't so much burst. So you could tone that back, and then you could exhaust the healer. I feel like there's no play with the healer's mana bars. They're just staying at full pretty much the whole time. You never have healers running out of mana because they're so powerful. Mana or whatever they're called, you know what I mean? I'm using mana as the energy. General. Yeah, exactly, general term. But yes, Red in the chat room said they wanted to increase the time to kill, and the opposite seems to have happened. I think that's true. No one's asking questions.
Oh, someone did. Clover Card asked, should class-specific items be added to balance PvP? And I'm not sure what exactly he's asking here.
It was up further in the chat. They said maybe they could, for classes that were a little underpowered, they could provide 4 credits class items that you could buy that would boost your, weak point in a certain way. And
but I feel like there are some people that really know how to play their class, and if you start giving these handicaps or something, that it would just go crazy.
Yeah, that is the issue. Plus, then you get the whole, then you can just buy your way to success with credits, and you can get credits by spending money on the game. buy cartel packs, sell them on the market, get money. It's a very direct correlation there. So not necessarily a good thing. But I mean, I feel like that, again, it's treating a symptom, not the cause.
I
like
think more of a problem is like like the solo ranked. It's always 4 DPS versus 4 DPS. So when you have 4 people on somebody, I mean, they're not going to survive. They're going to die quickly. And
Yes.
a lot of classes that people think are bad, like Sniper, Marauder, Merc, they're actually a lot of fun in 8v8s, and they can do very well.
Mhm.
And even in group ranked, I watch streams where people will run a double Sniper comp in group ranked, and it's pretty effective. I've seen Mercs.
That
All
is
these
true.
classes that people say are bad, actually, like, they thrive, or everything has a place, especially in group ranked. If you can build around it and you get support from your teammates, and you're coordinated, you got heals and guard,
It's like
every
Pokemon.
class.
You build your team.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
Pokemon that do go really well with others.
You get some weird synergies going on. Yeah, definitely.
I think it's more of like this 4 DPS versus 4 DPS. That's more of the problem. But I mean, it could not be. I don't know. I think if in the perfect world, if they added cross server and there were a ton of people playing, if solo queue, you know how you queue for a flashpoint and you need a tank, you need a healer. If you were forced to have a tank and a healer on your team in solo queue, maybe that could help. But I mean, I know a lot of tanks don't queue because they wait a long time because they need another tank to fight against. Same with the healers.
It'd be like the hard mode flashpoints queue where you have to have a set team, and then what if you get those people that just mark themselves as a tank just so that they can get into a queue, just like in flashpoints, and then you have 2 DPS and then like a half C tank that's
Because
not really a tank.
I would like the tank in solo rank, but like I don't want to wait for half an hour for a match.
Yeah,
But
it's
if
like
you were
the opposite
forced to-
of Group
Yeah, if
Finder
you're-
is you have to wait longer when you're a tank.
Because people don't want to tank. Yeah, that's
Right.
the thing in Group Finder. But like tanking is fun in PvP. A lot of people want to do it. And if you were forced to do it, maybe there'd be more tanks and healers queuing.
Yeah, and if they're stuck in their discipline, then they have to. I mean, you might as well guard someone, and you're doing more use than someone who's just straight DPS. And then if you have any kind of match imbalance, like I've seen, sometimes they'll still pop when you have match imbalance. I'm like, why? In ranked, why is this happening? I don't know if it's a bug or what, but yeah.
It could be like a backfill. I know before the first round starts, if someone doesn't take the pop, they'll backfill it with someone, whatever their discipline is.
Yeah. Another question said, should BioWare do away with expertise in PvP and hit accuracy in PvE to help break down gear-based barriers between the systems? I'd say no. I would say no. I'm not a fan of having gear available in PvE that helps you in PvP. I feel like the two systems should be separate.
Yeah, I kind of agree too.
And I think it's not hard to get. It takes like a week and a half. So no, two and a half weeks to get a full set of PvP gear. I did the calculation. It's on the. It's actually in my most recent PvP article on Corellian Run. I did a whole like checklist for ranked, and you should. It's fairly straightforward and easy to get your unranked PvP gear. One thing they could do is make it so you could earn that gear before you get to level cap. I don't see why they don't do that. I mean, it makes no sense. But back in the day when regs were the only thing you could do at level 50, I could see why they would separate that out where you couldn't get your gear until level 50. But now that ranked is really the main like top level PvP, I don't see why you can't get regged gear, regular gear in regular war zones heading up to level cap. It just doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's the way you can do it. Some people buy weapons. You have like a certain, I think 2 hours before you can refund it.
Yeah, that is
And
true, but that's
they
a
keep-
workaround.
Yeah, exactly.
But I actually, that's the reason I have 6 stacks of med packs sitting in my storage vault right now, because my Guardian, as she was heading up to level 50, had level 55 before the 3.0 patch had like, I kid you not, like 20 or 25 random PvP blaster rifles in her inventory. And at 3.0, they made all of the items bind to you to prevent people from messing with ultimate comms the same way we do with Warzone comms. And it basically would have locked all of those, and I knew that, so I spent all those commendations on Warzone med packs.
All right, I see a question. We've been called out that we ignored it.
Oh, sorry. Which
Yeah.
was question?
Okay, from Redna. If they started to address PvP balance strictly through expertise rather than making a universal change to the class, do you think that would help?
If they change the numbers expertise, they have to change probably the numbers like on damage and healing. I don't know how that would work, to be honest. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they could make each skill have a dependency on expertise, and then just modulate that to be balanced in PvP. You know, so it doesn't change the damage of the skill, so it doesn't change the balance in PvE. It just changes how much it relies on or does not rely on expertise. So the more expertise you have, the better the skill performs. And that way, in PvP, you could see the effect of getting better gear more clearly than you would in PvE.
I also
So-
see in chat that they're saying to bring back recruit gear. Like at first, it sounds kind of nice. Like, oh my god, I have all this PvP gear right away that I can just jump in to PvP and use. But on the other hand, I feel like, well, what if this person's brand new to the game and they're just gonna, go in there and not know what they're doing? I feel like the process of getting your gear, you're at least learning some of the game.
Apparently,
Um,
when they had the recruit gear, some people didn't know they had it, so they didn't even wear it.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I mean, with Bolster, I guess with
Don't they
Bolster
give you
and-
like a mission item though that says, "Hey, do this mission and you'll get your recruit gear."
they still wouldn't wear it.
Oh God.
They could get it for free and they still wouldn't do it. It was ridiculous. But I mean, if they combined it with Bolster, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. I don't know. Maybe it could be good.
I think that goes also to, with the recruit gear, goes back to what Goken said. They need to make more of even a tutorial on like, this is what you need. And if you're going to go into ranked or stuff like that, this is what you need and what you should do, etc. Your aim
Yes.
or minimum.
Yeah, at least have a recommendation, just like they do for the group finder, and just like they do for their missions for operations. Recommend or give them an idea what they should wear. I think it would help.
Yeah, and if they maybe made, I don't know, maybe if they used Bolster to tweak the classes too, that could be helpful. I don't know. Again, you get that problem if you do this across the board thing, then people who are really good at their classes, it makes it difficult for them to, you get that one person who's like freaking God mode in Bolster. So I don't know. It's kind of tricky. But
Also, sorry. Well, maybe like more people testing too. I know like when it's on the PTR, not people go on it to test the PvP changes.
yeah, that's true.
No.
And it's hard to get a pop. They need to
Maybe-
incentivize that better.
Yeah, and even during the Shadow of Revan when they had the closed testing, it was only for like 3 weeks, I think, and there weren't even that many people like invited to it.
Yeah. I feel like Shadow of Revan was not tested well enough.
No.
Not
Well, it
nearly
just
as
was
well
kind
as-
of surprise. Here's the expansion, though we kind of knew it was coming.
Right.
There wasn't really a warning. And
Yeah.
then
It was announced and then it came out 6 weeks later, I think.
yeah, and I know there was not a private server, but a closed server, a closed test server, but still, I know a lot of that closed server was with guilds that were testing out the operations, and somehow the operations were still not good. So I'm wondering, maybe there needs to be more of a goal when people get into the closed PTS, like you need to be doing this, or they need to pull in all these people that have specific jobs, or maybe they need to work on their QA team. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what happened in the back. They may have had focus testing on the PTR. They we don't see it if we weren't in it, but they may have done that. And so I wasn't in the test. So, but I was for GSF, and they did have very specific. Can you look at this? Can you give us feedback on that? So I know that their QA does do that. I just don't know if they did it for Shadow of Revan because I wasn't in it. But I know they also did when I tested McKeb, they didn't really have a whole lot of goals. But then again, I came in late in testing, so I may not have seen them, and they may have wiped the forums because they do tend to do that.
McKeb was definitely less goal oriented with the testing. And that.
Okay, it was also less buggy though because it had a lot more people in it.
Yes.
But again, something so story driven, it's hard to do that without giving spoilers away and having it spread all over Reddit, and it's tricky. Once that gets out, it's out. And so I don't know if that's a good enough reason to make buggy content though. I feel like maybe you could let people do the operations and not experience the quests. I don't know. I just don't know. It's tricky. There's another question from Red. He said, rather than bring back recruit gear, why should the grind for getting PvP gear take so long? Gokin, what do you think about
that? Well, there's the two tiers. There's the entry level and there's the ranked gear. The entry level gear doesn't take that long. If you play a moderate amount of time each night, you can. I mean, I think you said 2.5 weeks, but you can get it in less than that if you play like maybe 4 hours a night. You can actually get it pretty quick.
Yeah, that's just dailies and just like the minimum needed for dailies and weeklies, and that's it. Unless you play extra, it's 2.5 weeks like max for doing all the dailies and weeklies.
Yeah, the rank gear takes a long time. The regs, the regular gear, you get pretty quickly. And once you've been maxed at and you augment it and you have a stim, like that, to me, that's good enough for ranked. Some people kind of nitpick when people don't have rank gear, but I think it's unreasonable to expect someone to have, full rank gear without ever doing a ranked match.
Yeah, I mean, one could make the argument that you should have done it in the preseason, but again, like I was planning to use my gunslinger, and then I kind of like last minute decided to use my assassin, so I had to quickly get him geared up, even though my gunslinger has more ranked gear. But I agree, it's like a 3%, maybe 2% difference. It's not enough to change it,
Yeah, my power ticket, he was geared up before the season started, but a lot of people play multiple classes, and it does take a long time to get full ranked.
Yeah. I just realized I haven't updated my Tactical Strike page, so no one can find my columns. I'll have to fix that.
Yeah, I went to it and I was like, where's the new guide?
Last thing I did was in 2013, according to this.
Yeah, I was going to link in the new ranked guide, which I followed. I was like, oh, well, I don't have the gear, so I'm not going to go get my team just because I want to go do it.
That's a good call. That should be your number one priority, is get the gear and then go in and have fun.
Okay, I found it. I found the thing, so I'll link it in the chat for people.
Yeah, I mean, like, you should have your stems. You should have all that stuff. That's definitely true. I think I suggested a couple of extra things in there that maybe are like not so essential. And like I said, if you have the Matrix Cube, you can even leave regs early, so to speak, and go into ranked because it's not that much of a difference. Because you still get bolstered to 2018. So, yeah, I think the main thing that is kind of optional is the voiceover programs. If you're just doing, solo queue, no one will probably be using it. But there are channels on Harbinger. I don't know if other servers there are, but on the Harbinger, there are ranked channels that you can join on chat. And you can actually get in with people, and they'll do group queues sometimes. So you should look into that on your server forum on the main site.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think we have that on the Bastion.
Yeah, on the Bastion, you don't need it as much, though, probably.
So, do we have any more questions from the chat room, or are we going to close out our PvP chat?
I don't see anything. They had a question. People still use the Matrix Cube, and I every time the expansion rolls around, I go ahead and use it. But while I'm waiting to get my new relic, because I feel like it's better. The new relic doesn't get bolstered as much as the Matrix Cube does.
All right, Jason. I didn't see any questions, so.
No, I want to thank you guys. This was awesome to have this, guys. I know that coming from my perspective, I'm not a PvPer, but listening to you guys talk about this is just amazing, you guys. So I want to thank you guys again for coming on.
Oh, thank you for bringing me on. I had a good time.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's always good to be back.
So we still have more of the show. So if you guys are listening in the chat room, don't leave yet.
There's still more. Are you guys sticking around, or if you want to hang out and chat, maybe talk to the guys in chat, or do you guys need to take off?
I will probably hang around and chat for a little bit, and then I need to head out.
Yeah, I'll hang out in the chat and talk with people in there.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thank you.
you.
So if you guys have any other questions, Gildarian and Gokin will be in chat, so they can go ahead and continue asking your questions there. So, but for the rest of the show, we are going to flip it on out. We have interview with Guild. And who was that, Heather?
That was Jesse from Unholy Alliance on the Harbinger server.
So yeah, that was a great interview, and we're gonna go ahead and cue that up for you guys. So take a listen. Hi, and today on the Guild Ready Check, we have Jesse from the Unholy Alliance. How are you doing today, Jesse?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Heather, for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on the show. So tell us a little bit about your guild and yourself.
Okay, well, the guild is Unholy Alliance, and it's an Imperial guild. We're on the Harbinger server. We have about 125 active subscriber and preferred accounts right now, which translates to about 450 members. I'd say we're a medium-sized guild for the Harbinger, but we're pretty active. And we're PvE focused, for sure. We do a lot of stuff. I can go into as much or as little detail as you'd like me to about the kind of things that we do, but we're mostly PvE and operations focused.
Awesome.
Oh, tell us a lot about your guild.
Yeah, let us know everything.
All right.
We want to know it all.
Okay, well, we'll bear all. We are doing a lot of ops, but we have sort of a different approach to ops. We are sort of split in doing 3 different ways. We have our general ops, which are pretty much open to all of our level 60 players. As long as they have been raiding with us, they can come on our general ops, and we're doing like story mode clears of Ravagers right now is about where we're at, and we've kind of done all the content to this point, and we're dipping our toes a little bit into TOS, but we haven't gotten very far with that. We have a very low-key progression team, and I mean very low-key. These are not elite raiders, and they're not aspiring to be elite, but they are trying to clear the content together as a team in a very organized way and very defined roles. So they're doing that only once a week with that team. And then we have our teaching ops, which we offer once a week to people who are new to raiding, or maybe new to raiding in SWTOR, or maybe they raid with us in our general ops, but they'd like to try another role. So these are our DPSers who think they might want to try tanking or healing or vice versa, and they can jump in and do that with people that they know and trust and who know that they're good players and that they're just learning the new roles. So so that's sort of how we do operations. So we're going about 4 times a week with ops.
That's really cool with the teaching ops. Like,
yeah, I agree. I like that.
Yeah, because in our guild we have like the low key progression and then the open operation, but we don't really have the teaching one, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. I have to really thank my officers for sort of engineering that plan, because they saw a lot of people, as we were bringing people into the guild, they really wanted to get up and do the content, but, some of them had never raided before or have never tried these other roles. So I think it's really important to have a supportive environment, because pugs can be brutal, and it's not necessarily where you want to try out a new skill or a new rotation or a new class.
Mm-hmm.
So they came up with this as a way to just have that supportive environment. And a lot of those people have then graduated with those new roles into coming into general ops and even into the progression team. Some of those people came from there. So it's great. We kind of keep it all there in the family and the guild, and people don't have to go out looking or pugging to get what they need as far as the end game content. We don't just do operations, though. We do a lot of flashpoints. We do the hard mode flashpoints. I think those are great, and in many ways are more fun than operations, because they're real heal checks. I'm a healer, so I'm always looking from the healer's point of view. But, healing an operation, is great, but you have help. When you're healing a hard mode flashpoint, it's all down to you as the healer. So I enjoy the healing checks and the really like the tighter check of my rotation and my skills, and a lot of people enjoy that. Some of those new hard mode flashpoints are pretty challenging, or they have some pretty challenging bosses. So we're doing a lot of that. We're doing leveling flashpoints for people who aren't at max level yet, helping them to learn how to play their classes well and how to play as part of a group early on, and trying to keep people out of tacticals so that they can really Trinity mechanics, right? And like learn to bring that to the end game, because it's not reasonable for people to play tacticals all the way up and then be expected to know what their real role is. And that, no, you don't get to jump in, as a Marauder, for example, in an operation environment. So we do a lot of that, along with the gear runs that we do for people as they're leveling up and reaching the end of their story. But the main focus, really, of our guild is sort of like that social environment. And I think that's what makes our guild fun, is that we do lots of social stuff. Most guilds do these things like the World Boss and the Datacrons and things like that, but we do them very regularly. We do the Datacrons as sort of a cycle. We start at the starter planets, and we get like a big group, a hefty ops group, and we go through the first 3 or 4 planets in 1 month, and then the next month we have a next one scheduled, and we go on until we reach the end, and we do the fleet 10 plus, and then we start over. So and then at the end we always end up on the on the guild ship, now that we have one of those, and we have a party and cocktails and dancing and pod racing and dueling and door prizes and that sort of thing. So we get very involved in the social thing. So
sounds like a lot of fun. I'd be dead weight on that Datacron hunt, though. Like, everyone would have to wait for me to jump on something.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of Sorks. We actually do try to make it easy so that it's not such a tedious thing for people. And we, we're all Altaholics, so we can set people up all over the map, to pull at the various stations they need pulling. For things like the McKeb Datacrons, we'll do, go ahead and get somebody up there and then do a guild ship summons, and things look a little cheesy, but, it makes it a lot easier so that people aren't, like rage quitting from frustration, because
probably took me like 2 hours to get that McKeb Datacron. It was just me and one of my guildies, and I was just like, that's even with phase walk.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed at my jumping skills. Actually, it's something I've never quite mastered. The run and jump, walk and jump, and I'm terrified as though it's a real height I'm going to fall from. It's this weird psychological thing that happens when I'm required to jump over space. So I feel you.
Jumping to me doesn't work either. So. So now, I also see that you guys, besides some of the other things, you do these monthly website contests. What's those about?
Yeah. So you said you had a chance to sort of poke around our website, Jason. We have a very active, like a photo gallery, and we run each month something different. Like maybe it's the ugly hat contest, and you find the ugliest hat in game, which is not a difficult thing to do in SWTOR. There are many hideous hats, and so we've had a lot of fun with things like that. We do treasure hunt kind of things. One of my co-guild master actually wrote a little a puzzle where he described like the members of one, like the cantina band in a particular cantina, without giving away which one it is, and like gave some little clues, and the members would have to figure out where that was, go to the cantina, and then like get their picture taken with the band, and that was the screenshot contest.
Well, that's awesome.
Then, so we do lots of stuff like that. We also had a contest. We had a guildmate coming back from an overseas deployment. He's in the military, and so we had a little contest, like donate something for this returning member, because he missed so much of the new content that came out. We wanted him to not feel that he'd missed everything. So we got him stronghold decorations and like all the new gear and stuff from the new packs and lots of credits. And so everybody who participated in that was in a contest to win like a subscription card. And so that's sort of how we keep interest in things popping on the website, is to, I'll say it, to bribe people with gifts, prizes, recognition, to get on the site, to make sure they're using it, and being involved in the community, because there's so much that we can do outside the confines of the communication systems that we have within the game, and the guild management, as I'm sure you know, is lackluster. So having something outside the games that helps us stay together and focused and get to know each other is important. So we use the website a lot.
So are you the guild master?
I am the guild master. I do have a co-guild master who I asked to to come and assist me with sort of he's more of a, how would we say, he's a better gamer than I am. He is more of a min-maxer, amateur theory crafter, know your class really well, know everybody's class really well kind of player, very good at operations. I'm more of like the cheerleader, like, rah, rah, let's play together and have fun. So I felt that I wanted somebody else up at the same, management level as I to give a little bit more gamer cred to our guild. So Moxie's is my co-guild master, or co-equal. And then I have a fantastic team of officers who are amazing and do all the work, so I can just sit back and collect a fat paycheck. Just kidding.
So
No.
are you recruiting at all?
Yeah, I mean we're always open to new members. I would say we get the majority of our members through pugs. People play with us. We require TeamSpeak for our operations, so people get into our TeamSpeak channel and enjoy sort of the vibe and the social environment that we have there, and then come and join our guild. And so that's how I would say the bulk of our members come to us. But absolutely, when people are asking, for a good social guild or a good leveling guild or whatever, I'll talk to them and they'll, tell them what we're about. If they agree to our code of conduct and how we do things, and we don't troll, and this is how we are, come and play with us, then they're quite welcome to join us.
How does somebody get in touch with you if they want to join or just check a little bit out about the Unholy Alliance?
So there's a couple ways. They can certainly whisper anybody in guild by doing a Who search for Unholy Alliance, or you can whisper me directly. I'm generally to be found on Stunner, STUNNER, or you can send me an in-game mail. On the web, we have the website that we were talking about. That's unholyalliance.org. Unholy Alliance is one word, .org. I'm on Twitter at Unholy Alliances with an S at the end, because the other one was taken. Damn it. And I think those are pretty much the main ways. There's an email link on the site if you'd like to contact us. You can find it there. It's admin at Unholy Alliance, and that will get me directly. Also, for anybody who might be interested, this sounds like the type of social environment that you're interested in, the type of structure. We have started a pubside guild. We just actually sort of revived that because there was a great deal of interest, and we couldn't quite find the right guild to sister up with in a preformed guild. So we made one, and that narcissistic control freak for the win. So Wookiee Mistake.
Nice.
I'm glad you got that. Wookiee Mistake is our pubside guild, and we are actually running our first op tonight, Saturday, and we're working toward our guildship, and we should have that pretty soon. And we plan to bring that. It's much smaller at this point. We have like 40 actives on right now, about 130 total members, but we plan to probably bring that up to about the same level as Unholy. And we really do intend to kind of carry that culture on and, get involved in, those social activities and that sort of thing. So yeah, we are very happy to talk to new people who are interested and think it sounds like a good fit for them, for sure.
That's awesome. Did you have anything else you want to ask her, Heather?
No, it sounds really cool. I'm really happy with my guild, but this sounds awesome. I mean, I'm not going to go and quit despair or anything, but, I'm really happy we've had you on the show. It sounds like a really cool guild, and I hope people join.
Yeah, well, we're happy if they do, but we're never trying to be like the big mega guild on the server or anything. If people hear anything about Unholy Alliance, I want it to be good, positive stuff, and the best way we can do that is have quality people in there that love the game, how we love it, and want to work together and help other people out, and just have a good time playing. So as long as we can achieve that, then we're doing what we need to do.
I love the fact that you guys are not only social, but you guys are, you have definite goals for your different guilds, and I think that's great. So I definitely suggest if you guys are looking for a guild and on the Harbinger server, give a shout out to the Unholy Alliance. We will have all the contact information on how you can get in touch with them in game or their website. So I want to thank you again, Jesse, for coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much. It really is a pleasure, and I really appreciate it. And just a quick fangirl moment. You know, we many of us at the Guild really enjoy Corellian Run and the work that you guys do for the community. Corellian Run's been around for a long time, and
Yep.
and podcasts are really important, and blogs to the community, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done to keep the community together, to help to help keep us like cohesive, and it's a great thing. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys and to be a part of it today. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and we will definitely try to have you on again. So.
Well, thank you. I would look forward to that.
That was the Unholy Alliance. That was their guild. We did get the proper link up there finally in the.
Yeah, sorry about that. I guess I linked some non-SWTOR related website.
Well, that happens. So, I thought they're a really good guild. I think that was really cool. They do a lot of different things besides just ops and different things like that. And UP, they also spend some time just doing some fun things, kind of that whole family vibe going on. So.
Yeah, well, if you're a guild looking to get your guild notice, why not contact us about being on a guild ready check like Unholy Alliance? If you're interested, you can send us an email to CorellianRun@gmail.com, or you can email me at heather@prettylittlesith.com. And I know we had a few people in chat saying that I should talk to someone else next, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, and just get in contact with Heather and we'll get you on the show. So I want to thank all the guilds that have contacted us, and stay tuned for new guild ready checks and also Compute Checkpoint articles. Don't forget to check out all the other great articles on CRR this past week.
And we'd like to make a shout out to our fellow SWTOR podcasts. We have UtiniCast, ToroCast, Escape Podcast, Bad Feeling Podcast, Star Wars Beyond the Stars, Enmity Podcast, Healing SWTOR, Old Republic Radio, Tor Noob, State of the Galaxy by Death and Taxes, Hopecast by SWTORista, and Casual Core Radio with our friend Gildarian as one of their hosts on there. We also have another, not exclusively SWTOR related, but the Usual podcast.
Yeah, they got in contact with us, and they do cover, I think a couple of those people are former from Tor Wars, and they got in contact with us, so we're looking to possibly get in touch with them, maybe a possible interview or something like that, so we'll look for them on down the future, so definitely check those out, and we'll have a link for them in the show notes. And also, please take a moment to leave us some feedback on iTunes, hopefully positive, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
You can also contact us through our website, CorellianRun.com, or through Twitter @CorellianRun, or me at Heather_PLS, or Jason at JT_HoloNet. You can also go to our Facebook page or join our Facebook group. You can also leave a voicemail on our website, or if you have any other questions or ideas for discussion topics, you can tweet us or you can email them to CorellianRun@gmail.com. Also, we're looking for writers. You can email Jason at CorellianRun.com.
That's going to wrap it up for us at Corellian Run Radio. I want to thank again the special guests, Gokin and Gildarian, aka Drew, for stopping by for their PvP wisdom. Thanks for all the fans and followers and the loyal listeners that were tuning in. We had a lot of people in chat. I want to thank you guys for helping out with that and all your questions and everything like that, and comments. And until next time, I'm Jason.
I'm Heather. May the Force be with you. Or keep those blasters by your side, kid.
You've been listening to Corellian Run Radio, the Star Wars The Old Republic podcast. Tune in next time to hear Heather say,
"Live long and prosper."
End transmission.